Hello people, I hope you all are doing good. Today I have come up with a video on anti-Parkinsonism from pharmacology. It took a lot of effort and so I hope you will watch it till the end and I promise it would be worth it. So let's dive into it. So anti-Parkinsonism. Parkinson's disease is a neurodegenerative disorder of older people mainly, which is due to degeneration of neurons in the nigrostriatal pathway. What is nigrostriatal pathway? The pathway from the substantia nigra to the corpus striatum. So degeneration of neurons in nigrostriatal pathway leading to deficiency of dopamine in the corpus striatum. So what are the three main symptoms of this disease? First is hypokinesia, means slowing of the body movements. Second is muscle rigidity and third is resting tremors, means shaking of hands or feet at rest. So as you can see in this diagram, stooped posture, back rigidity, tremors, masked face, hand tremors and shuffling, short stepped gait. Now what are the secondary symptoms? They are increased salivation, difficulty in speaking, mask-like face and shuffling gait. Now most important, what is the etiology of this disease? So normal conditions में क्या होता है? This is substantia nigra, this is corpus striatum and this is nigrostriatal pathway. Now the dopamine is inhibitory to the GABA neurotransmitter and GABA itself is inhibitory. So when dopamine inhibits the inhibitory neurotransmitter, so net effect is positive. And what does acetylcholine do? It enhances the inhibitory action of GABA. So in short, this GABA is inhibitory. Dopamine inhibits this inhibitory action, so net effect is positive. And acetylcholine is enhancing the inhibitory action, so net effect is negative. This is acetylcholine and this is dopamine. So normally there is a balance between this negative and positive effect, but in Parkinson's disease there is imbalance, so the dopamine level decreases and so the acetylcholine level increases. All the effects are due to the dopamine decrease and acetylcholine increase. So due to decreased dopamine, we face hypokinesia and rigidity, and due to increased acetylcholine, tremors. So based on these actions, now let's discuss what drugs can we give here. So पहला, dopamine decrease हो गया है तो हमको उसको increase करना है. How can we increase dopamine? So first, we can give a precursor of dopamine. Precursor of dopamine is levodopa. Let's see here. Now what levodopa does? Understand this diagram first. This is blood-brain barrier. Below it is periphery and above it is central nervous system. So एक basic question आता है कि dopamine directly क्यों नहीं देते, levodopa क्यों देते? So dopamine is unable to cross the blood-brain barrier and so we give levodopa which easily crosses blood-brain barrier. Now the levodopa is converted to dopamine by dopa decarboxylase, but this action happens in both the places, in the periphery and in the CNS. But what is our aim? We have to increase dopamine in the central nervous system. So we have to inhibit the conversion of levodopa to dopamine in the periphery so that all the levodopa goes into the central nervous system to convert into dopamine. Simple. So first we have to inhibit this dopa decarboxylase in the periphery. So first drug we can give carbidopa. So we always give carbidopa with levodopa to decrease the peripheral conversion of levodopa to the dopamine. Okay, secondly, what can we do? We need dopamine increase in the central nervous system. So we have to inhibit its degradation into the metabolite. So we have to inhibit MAO-B that converts dopamine to its metabolite. So this can be the second drug, MAO-B inhibitor. What else can we do? We need levodopa increase in the CNS. And we have to inhibit its conversion or degradation into 3-O-methyl-dopa. So we can also inhibit COMT. This can be the third mechanism. So based on this, let's now discuss the drugs classification. We can give two categories of drugs that increase dopamine, dopaminergic, and that decrease acetylcholine. So first, increasing dopamine, we can give dopamine precursor levodopa as we discussed. Secondly, we can give MAO-B inhibitor as we discussed and COMT inhibitor. What else can we give? We can give dopaminergic agonist. What do these drugs do? They directly stimulate the receptors of dopamine. Okay. Then fifth, NMDA receptor blocker amantadine. Amantadine is basically an antiviral drug but can also be used here as it is effective in anti-Parkinsonism. It reduces the reuptake of dopamine. So this was all about dopaminergic. Now we have to reduce cholinergic effect. So we can give anti-muscarinic drugs and antihistaminic, anti-H1 histaminic that has same action as anti-muscarinic. Now let's discuss about individual categories. The first one being dopamine precursor levodopa. So levodopa is a precursor of dopamine, always given with carbidopa to decrease its peripheral conversion to dopamine as we discussed above. Now what happens when we activate the dopamine receptors? So on corpus striatum, there is anti-Parkinsonian effect. Activation of dopamine receptor in limbic system leads to psychosis like delusions, hallucination, insomnia, which is a side effect. It activates or triggers the chemoreceptive trigger zone and causes nausea and vomiting. Then on cardiovascular system, tachycardia and arrhythmia by peripherally formed dopamine. Therefore, we give carbidopa to inhibit the peripheral formation of dopamine. Now, what are the side effects of levodopa? So, as we saw, nausea, vomiting and anorexia due to CTZ stimulation, mental changes due to its effect on limbic system, and on-off phenomena. This is most important. Let's understand what is this. Let's take an example here. Suppose एक नॉर्मल पर्सन के पास 10 डोपामीन न्यूरॉन्स होते हैं. अभी इस इंसान को पार्किंसंस डिजीज़ हो गई, तब इसके पास सिर्फ 5 डोपामीन न्यूरॉन्स बचे. ठीक है, तो अभी इधर डिफरेंस आ गया 5 का. पहले 10 था, अब 5 है, तो 5 का डिफरेंस आ गया. अब इस 5 के डिफरेंस को कॉम्पेंसेट करने के लिए हमने x अमाउंट ऑफ लीवोडोपा दिया, ताकि 5 का जो डिफरेंस है वो कॉम्पेंसेट हो जाए. तो नॉर्मली क्या हुआ, यहाँ इसका फर्स्ट डोज का टाइम है दिन का और यहाँ सेकेंड डोज का टाइम है. तो ये जो हमने x अमाउंट ऑफ लीवोडोपा दिया, दैट वर्क्स बिटवीन द फर्स्ट एंड द सेकेंड डोज, एंड देन यहाँ पे इसका प्लाज्मा कॉन्सेंट्रेशन खत्म हो गया तो सेकेंड डोज ले लिया. नाउ एज वी नो दिस डिजीज इज प्रोग्रेसिव, मीन्स टाइम के साथ ये जो 5 है अब 4 बन गया. तो डोपामीन की और कमी हो गई, बट स्टिल हम लीवोडोपा तो x अमाउंट ही दे रहे हैं, मतलब अब ज़्यादा लीवोडोपा की ज़रूरत है पर फिर भी हम x ही दे रहे हैं. तो क्या होगा, यहाँ फर्स्ट डोज लेता है इंसान और यहाँ पे सेकेंड डोज लेता है. ठीक है, तो ये जो x लीवोडोपा है उसने यहाँ तक काम किया और अब प्लाज्मा कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ख़त्म हो गया डोपामीन का. तो यहाँ तक तो पेशेंट एसिम्टोमेटिक था, बट सेकेंड डोज लेने से पहले इतने टाइम तक थोड़े सिम्टम्स आएंगे. तो ये एसिम्टोमेटिक फेज को ऑन फेज बोलते हैं और सिम्टोमेटिक को ऑफ बोलते हैं. दिस कंटिन्यूज and this is known as on-off phenomena, which is a side effect of levodopa. तो ये हो गए side effects. Now drug interaction. Pyridoxine, that is vitamin B6, enhances the peripheral conversion of levodopa to dopamine, जो हमको नहीं चाहिए. हमको central nervous system में conversion चाहिए, peripheral में नहीं चाहिए. इसलिए it should be avoided with levodopa. तो vitamin B6 should be avoided with levodopa. Next drug, dopaminergic agonist. Example, bromocriptine, ropinirole and pramipexole. What it does, it directly stimulates the dopamine receptors. So ये रहे dopamine receptors. Without giving dopamine, इन drugs को दो, that directly stimulates the receptors. Usual route is oral and it is convenient to administer. it has a longer duration of action than dopamine, and side effects are nausea, dizziness, and hypotension. Now third, MAO-B inhibitors. Example, selegiline and rasagiline. They are irreversible inhibitors of MAO-B. The side effects of selegiline are that when it degrades, its metabolite is an amphetamine. Amphetamine is a CNS stimulant which causes anxiety and insomnia. It can be used as adjuvant with levodopa, and it is useful to prevent further degeneration by inhibiting the generation of free radicals. Now the fourth one is NMDA receptor blocker, that is amantadine. Blocking of NMDA type of glutamate receptor have anti-Parkinsonian effect, and it may contribute in eliminating dyskinesia. Amantadine probably blocks reuptake of dopamine, and it helps in releasing dopamine. Now on prolonged use, tolerance develops. The side effects are very mild like lethargy and dizziness. So should not be used where lot of concentration is required like in trivers. Fifth class is COMT inhibitors. Example are entacapone and tolcapone. It blocks the degradation of levodopa to 3-O-methyl-dopa, which we discussed earlier. Then it is used in late cases of anti-Parkinson disease, and the side effects of tolcapone are hepatotoxic, so entacapone must be preferred. Now what are the common adverse effects of both? Nausea, postural hypertension, confusion, and hallucinations. Now last two classes, the ones which decreases the acetylcholine, that are antimuscarinic drugs and antihistaminic drugs. So antimuscarinic, example piperidine and benztropine. These drugs having the central anticholinergic actions are effective. They block the muscarinic receptors in the corpus striatum and relieve symptoms such as tremors. What are the secondary symptoms which are relieved? Increased salivation. Now the central side effects are sedation and mental confusion, and the peripheral ones are blurred vision, urinary retention, and constipation. Last class, antihistaminic. Example on orphanadrine. It does not cause sedation, so it can be used. H1 blockers have central anticholinergic actions, and that can be used for drug-induced Parkinsonism too. This was it. I hope you have this chapter on your fingertips now, as I have tried to make it as simple as possible for you guys. For more such videos, do subscribe to my channel and comment down your recommendations for the next one. Also, share it with your friends. Signing off, this is Palak Sanghai.